So, yeah, people will be joining us because they want to see this. So we are live now. Thank you for those of you who have found your way back to this page. We are making it work. I know my mother will be particularly excited, Courtney. She was texting me. She was like, I lost the feed. Like, what happened? I want to see Courtney. So I'm telling her we're on so she can alert the masses and share this broadcast. So people will be getting on in just a second, I'm sure. We had a really good group that was super excited to see you. So as we were waiting, I was talking about, what do you do when things don't go the way you planned? Like, you just make it work. And Melissa was saying, you have a plan B. And I was like, for sure, you have a plan B. And, my plan B was just a little bit slow today. My plan B was a little bit slow. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to just let everyone know that we're here. I am going to share this broadcast. And we'll watch the people come and find us, which is going to be super exciting. So they're coming. Come on, y'all. Come on. Tell your friends.
Hey,
tell
guys.
Your friends.
Welcome back.
We're here.
Thanks for waiting.
We are here. Thank
Thanks
goodness.
For staying awake.
It's working. Yeah, I know, right? I should be in the bed. Okay, so I am going to share this on my regular personal page and alert the masses that you're here. And for those of you who are watching, hello. I am Siobhan, Dr. Siobhan Farad, and I am the host of the Made Marriage Show. I am a marriage coach. I'm an author of an awesome book called Voices in Your Ear. And
so proud of you.
Thank you, honey. Thank you. And I'm super excited about this show. So the Made Marriage Show is literally something I made up in my head and my mind, and now it's here live for all of you, which is when I get to interview amazing, awesome, incredible wives about how they make their marriage work. Hey, Janine. Hey, Rebecca, my regulars. We're here. Melissa. Yes, we're here. So tell everybody
ladies.
You know. Tell everyone you
Thanks
know.
For soldiering through.
Yes, exactly. I'm such a believer that everything happens exactly as it should, even if it doesn't make sense to us. That this is perfect. We're right on time, and the right people that are supposed to see this broadcast will see this broadcast. So this show is all about how to make marriage work, because marriages, great marriages, don't just like fall into your lap. They don't just like fall out of the sky. They are made, intentionally made. And that's what we talk about in the show, the things that people do to just make it work the best that they can, right? Because we're all doing the best that we can. So I'm super excited to have our special guest. I'm going to let her talk. She is a trooper. You're a trooper too, to push through all these technical issues. So tell us who you are, where you're from, what you do, and how you make your marriage work. You can take it away.
Hello, everyone. I am Courtney Melendez. I am a director of sales in senior living. It's a very interesting world, but get a lot of, I would say, good feelings by being able to help families in kind of a time of crisis. So love what I do. I am a mother of two and the wife to my loving hubby, Tito.
Fantastic, Courtney. Courtney, can I just tell you, you are Rudy Huxtable to me. I'm sure you get that a lot, that people say you look like Keisha Knight Pulliam. I totally do. Every time I see you, every time I see her, I'm like, it is the same person. It is the same person. I hope you take that as a compliment. She's beautiful and you're beautiful. But we're not here to talk about how beautiful you are, because we could do that all night for sure. We are here to talk about marriage. So tell me and us and all of the wonderful women that are watching us. If you're watching, say hello to us. Hello. We've been working hard to get this live stream on. Tell us, Courtney, how you came to meet, date, and marry this man named Tito.
Tito and I are college sweethearts. We met a few weeks into school. before I think I was given the green light by you and the rest of our crew when I brought him home to meet everyone and just make sure that, doesn't this, it seems really good, right? And you guys definitely agreed. But no, our love story definitely started in school. And a friendship that I know that is literally the secret to our marriage. We are literally best friends and really aren't that different from back when we met. So we're still always trying to find time to get away, and every day, and just to make every day exciting still. So we
Yeah.
love that. But that really only works when you have a good friendship.
Yeah, it is because it doesn't feel like work, right? It's just like fun. Like you're
No.
still the favorite people to spend time with, and you make it work that way. Fantastic. Um, so what would you say? I mean, given that you have been, with Tito for such a long time, at really critical junctures of like just anyone's development, what would you
Mhm.
say, being married, what would you say has like surprised you the most about being married?
Well, I thought that because it always kind of plays out this way on TVs and books and in stories that every marriage had to get old, every marriage had to get fall into just a routine or become kind of dull, and that guys would take turns kind of being in and out because of routine, and a lot of couples kind of just become roommates, trying to just make their way through life. And I have found that it's been quite the opposite for us. I think each year gets better. We just have so much fun. And even if it's something as simple as trying to get away from our kids for a little bit, or trying to create something exciting that includes our kids, we just have a
Mhm.
good time, and it's genuine. So I think even when we started thinking about expanding and making a family, we knew we wanted, that same fun environment for them. So we
Mhm.
didn't change. We changed very little about how we were, how we acted, what we did, travel wise, all of that. We did all of that and made sure just to incorporate them into it so that they could understand just how much fun it could be too. So,
So, Courtney, I mean, like, you must have some secret sauce, right? Because I know that there are women listening to this that are like, wait a minute, like, you are still having fun together. You feel like the kids didn't bring you down, like, you're not stressed out. Like, life happens to all of us, right? We have challenges that are inevitable. And we have a lot of differences, even, as husband and wife. But, I'm sitting here like, now, how is this lady still having so much fun? Like fun, like college days fun, because college days, we all know, were like the real deal fun. You didn't have any
right.
responsibilities. So how is it that you and your husband are able to infuse fun, all these years that you've been together? How do you keep that fun going? Like, what do you think it is about you and him? And like, what's the secret? Like, we all want to know the secret to having fun all the time. Not all the time, but consistently, that it doesn't feel like a dip or a drain. Like, how do you do it? Tell us, because we want to know. And I'm going to take some notes
Well,
on this one too.
okay. I just think that I don't treat him that differently than I would how I kind of treated my girlfriends growing up. I mean, really I could liken it to the respect that we had for each other, the sheer joy of every day. What are the things we can do together? What are the new memories we could make when we were growing up? I didn't get it any differently when Tito and I met. And I think my enthusiasm um, really, I don't know, inspired it in him because he gets excited and he loves to try to plan fun things. And don't get me wrong, he's not the romantic type by any means, but fun loving, super sweet, so thoughtful. When it's unexpected, and those are very much like the things that you enjoy about your girlfriends. So
Yeah.
I've been able to kind of translate that same that same kind of relationship to where he's my first choice in everything. Anytime I want to hang out,
Mm.
he's my first choice. That's who I want to be with. And I know I can have fun without him. We're not that kind of couple. But at the same time, we just have a good time. Like, I think everyone that has hung out with us back when we first knew each other in college and they hang out with us now, that's what they always tell us.
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
You know, like, keep it light.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's
good
worked for us.
That's what's worked for you. Keep it light and make it fun. That's so simple. It's so simple. Like, I think everyone would raise their hand that that's what they want.
Yeah,
so thank you.
Because life is hard enough. You've got enough obstacles being thrown at you on a daily basis. You know. Yeah.
Yeah. You're still there, right? You can hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good.
I was just saying that the day to day is going to irk you. You know, your careers are going to bring you to try real hard to bring you down. The kids trying to juggle all of the things that they're asking of you, and trying to, you know, really make sure that they have everything they need and then some, because that's what we want for our kids. So those are all the things that's just part of the equation anyway. How can you remain partners through all of that? And I mean, he has really helped to balance me. I wouldn't say that I was all such as balanced. In, not to make everything so all or nothing in life. I was definitely an individual that could easily get annoyed or feel disappointed by something or someone, be it loyalty, be it, you know, just not seeing eye to eye with someone. And I would be quick to try to just kind of end that relationship or shut off that communication with that individual. And what he really taught me was, like, why in the world would you like lose out on this great individual in your life when you love all of these things about that person? So what if these things, you know, come with that that's part of the package? You're missing all this good stuff. And he really helped me be able to kind of get some perspective in all things. And I try to just apply that in every aspect as well, by just focusing on that good. But everything, the bad comes with everything. So that part's already given. If you can focus on the good, you can keep your joy. And that's so important, because the day-to-day is so hard. I mean, that's just, honestly, it's going to be hard. Just doing the regular things that
My end is going a little bit choppy, but I think it may just be me. I'm going to turn off all these other things and make sure I have a really good, clear connection. So I think, you know, I love what you said, the advice that he actually gave you when it comes to other people in your lives. And I think it's so applicable to even the marital relationship. It's a package, right? We sometimes lose sight of the good because we do focus so much on the negatives that seem to like overtake and outweigh the positives of being with our spouses. And I love that he has helped you gain perspective in that area of life. And I think that's something that all of us are striving for, and in many situations, certainly when it comes to marriage, because there's lots of ups and downs, there's lots of challenges you will inevitably face. But, you know, I think the more and more we talk, and the more and more, you know, we all remember that you said you guys are still having fun. It's like, okay, that's another secret of always having the right perspective, always looking for the good. So I hope that those of you who are watching and still like trying to figure out how this woman is having so much fun in her marriage with 2 kids and busy lives and all of that other stuff. I know we can easily get weighed down by the stressors of life. It's about perspective, right? So they never stopped having fun. They integrated fun into everything, and then they kept the right perspective, always focusing on the good. So you're already giving us lots and lots of lessons. So Courtney, let me ask you this, right? So we know that, you know, not everyone is having a fun time in their marriage. And there may be someone who's watching or someone who catches this on a replay. And if you're watching this, please share this broadcast, because you never know who it can help. But there may be someone right now who is in a really, really difficult place in their marriage, where they're not quite sure if the marriage will survive, where separation is on the table, divorce is not out of the realm of possibility. I feel like every marriage at some point or another will have those tests where you sort of wonder how you will survive, if you will survive. And so what would you say to someone who is in that place right now, who is not sure that they are going to make it in their marriage together, or that they really are sort of like one foot out of the door? And again, whenever I ask this question, we're always excluding situations where your health and safety is at risk. Those things are completely different, and we want you to always be safe and always protect yourself physically, emotionally, as well as your children. But for those who are not in an abusive situation where it's just, we have so much distance, or he frustrates me, or he's not putting forth an effort, or, we have some other issues that we're dealing with we can't ever resolve, what would you say to that person?
Well, I'm a strong proponent in counseling. And sometimes, I know in our community, we sometimes are not very receptive to sharing our problems with strangers or even just talking things out. And that can be sometimes one of our biggest downfalls, because there's so much that can be gained by just expressing yourselves freely.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something everybody just knows how to do at home by any means. I think can really help you do is hear each other. Whereas sometimes you think you might be hearing each other at home, but you're close to this, you're not able to really understand in itself for all types of things, but also it can help you exactly what it wanted you to that individual. Maybe it's, helping you get back to some of those good times, those good thoughts, or all the ways that you were able to connect before that you're on for you to even be able to think about that. So I'm really big on, you have to be effective communicators. I can tell you, Tito was not a great communicator when I met him. And it's still a work in progress, but he knows how to communicate with me. Doesn't mean that he's necessarily a great communicator, but he knows by now in time what I need, when I kind of need to know that kind of thing, because it's no big deal to him. It can be huge to me because there's 6, 7 other things I need to do with that information, because I'm a mom and wife.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And just another, it can best be received.
Mm-hmm.
It's all more of a thought conduct your relationship, because it's not so much the same way that you might be able to communicate with somebody at work. Might be different, but this is a special relationship, and it has to be nurtured. And thankfully, he is willing to just continually work at giving me information, because he's from a family where they don't need to share a lot of information. I'm from a family that shares everything. We sneeze, we want to know when was the last time I went to the doctor. So we coming from 2 different worlds. And and I had to share a funny story. The very first time he took a road trip with my family, he was so overwhelmed with those questions until he met my family and realized, you guys talk about everything, but we do. And so he had to really learn that. And then it also helped him understand where my questions were coming from. I'm not interrogating. I'm not literally, there's things I can do with this information if I just have it.
Yeah.
Because to be able to just make logical decisions using all the information I can get. I don't even approach our relationship any differently from that. And so I'm so thankful that he was even willing, because it took a while for him to even see the value in just getting me what I need in conversation sake.
Yeah. So. I think it's such an important point, because I think a lot of times when you have differences, and every couple has the differences, and they're sometimes really big differences, and a lot of times based on how you grew up and how your families are. And I think what makes it so hard to get to that place of appreciation is just the lack of understanding, right? So many things are just second nature to us because that's the way it's always been. And I love what you said that,
Right.
you know, sometimes counseling can really just help you listen to each other. Like a lot of times people think that, you know, they should be going to a marriage counselor to fix their problems. And it's not that at all. It really is just what you said, like having an outside person to help you hear each other and help you gain understanding, because I think understanding is the way to get to that appreciation. It doesn't mean that you need to judge, and it doesn't even mean that, you know, one person's way is the right way and the other person's way is the wrong way. It just means like, oh, I get it. Like I understand why you do it that way. And I'm not going to judge you for it. And I can just appreciate it that that's how you do it. It doesn't mean that I have to do it that way. But, you know, being able to really listen. And I think, just like you said, a lot of times we think we're listening. I used to think I was an excellent listener until I got like training on listening. I'm like, wow, I've been really missing the boat on a couple of these steps. And, you know, it's so true. And I think a lot of times having that outside perspective can help you see yourself differently and help you see your spouse differently as well. So that's really, really helpful. Thank you for that. What would you say, you know, when you're in it, right? It's sort of like there's some things you just have to learn when you're in it. But what would you say, you know, as you think back to getting married in your earlier days, what are some of the things that nobody really told you about marriage that you have now learned or that you learned along the way? I know you mentioned a little bit earlier that you thought, you know, everyone sort of set the expectation that marriage would get stale and that you haven't had that experience and you're so fortunate. What are some of the things that maybe like are the advice that people give you that maybe like doesn't really become real until you're like in the situation? Or what are some of those things you feel like nobody even ever told you about that you like just had to figure out on your
own? Maybe, I think people did tell me, because people always are pretty upfront about the fact that it's going to be work. But I don't think that you understand what that means, because we equate work with kind of, unfortunately, most of us, with something that we don't enjoy, yet it takes up most of our day. And that's the reality for so many of us. And so when we think of work, you know, we think of it negatively. So sometimes people are not willing to put in that work because they're just thinking about how much time and energy has to be spent. But just like your day job and all of the effort that has to be put in there, the marriage is no different. It's not the same where you're getting paid for it in the sense that, you know, you kind of mark your success based on that. Not the same in that light, but you can only get great results from it by contributing to it every day. That part
I love that. That's like a tweetable, you guys. That's a tweetable. You can only get great results by working on it every day. I love that, Courtney. That's really good. That's really good. Sorry to interrupt.
And it doesn't mean no, but it doesn't always mean that you know that you're working on it. But, you know, being mindful of what each other likes, what you know, already know that they need, or something that would even surprise them that they would enjoy. Those things are work. That's not, in our minds, hard work, but just being mindful of those things on a day-to-day, you can contribute to your marriage without it actually feeling so hard. You know, truly meeting for needs and understanding that your partner is willing to reciprocate those things too. I mean, that's the work that is marriage. It's, you know, not always feeling that they're your favorite person, but knowing that I've got the commitment in to still, you know, want to please that person, because it's the commitment that you've made, and you already know that, okay, you're not having the best moment with them, but you know that's short-lived too. That'll be right back around. It's okay to be annoyed with each other. That's normal. It's okay to rub each other the wrong way. It's okay to have your little moments where you flip, but you know, it should not be something long-standing. We don't go to sleep angry. We don't play that game here. And you have to be willing to talk it out. My husband's the first one to say, I don't want to talk about that right now. That's my worst. Oh, I hate that. Because I'm always wanting to talk about everything right now. But,
yes.
He's not. But at the same time, it's not about what it's going to do for you. It's about what it'll do for both of us.
Yeah.
And you have to be willing to be that mature and say that this is for both of us. If this may not be for me right now, I don't want to do it, but this is for both of us, or this is something I know that he needs to hear.
Yeah.
So that we can move on from here.
Yeah. That's a really important point. Yeah. Putting your own selfish needs aside for a minute to really look at the bigger picture and what's best for the marriage and your union together. So important.
Yeah.
Oh, Courtney,
it's a lot of sacrifice. It's a lot of sacrifice, but it's very similar to motherhood in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's that. I keep them all in perspective in that same light. It's unfortunately my needs are not usually the first ones on my mind. It's about these three,
right?
That are my world. So that's who I focus on, and that's who I try to please, and that's how I try to keep happy and make sure their needs are met. And we have a lot of fun doing that because I don't have to feel like it's like my day job type stuff.
Yeah. I love that. And I often think about that, especially now that I have really small children. My kids are 1 and 3. And, especially when I talk to mothers that have small children, busy. But we give so much grace to our children, right? And just like you said, it's sort of like when it comes to making a sacrifice for them, we don't think twice about it. Like lack of sleep, okay, I don't care. Like you're crying and screaming and throwing a temper tantrum, like I'm going to love you anyways. And yet, right, when our spouses are throwing tantrums, and it may look different than my 3-year-old's tantrums right now, when they're being needy or asking and maybe demanding things of us, we don't give them that same grace. And I love that you have just given us that reminder that, we are sort of called to give a sacrificial love in many different relationships. It's easy to do that as a parent, but I think if we could apply the same ease and willingness and grace to the relationship with our spouses, wow, right? What stronger, more beautiful, more amazing marriages we would have, because you get what you give. And so if that's the type of love you're giving someone, it's going to eventually come back around to you. So thank you.
It's true.
Hey, everyone that's joining. I see lots of familiar names, Lisa and Jessa, and my mom is on, Suzanne. Hey, everyone. Okay, so we are going to get to the fun part of the show where we get to guess how long you guys think, how long you think Miss Courtney has been married to Tito. So I'm going to let you guys, and I know some of you probably know, like down to the exact hour, but go ahead and put your votes in on the comments. So put your comments for how long you think Courtney has been making her marriage work, and we're going to tell you that in just a second. I know there's a little bit of a delay with the Facebook live stream, so I'll give you a couple minutes to do that. And while I do, we're going to take a commercial break. And that commercial break is the Made Marriage Show is brought to you by Relatable. I just decided to start doing that now. So I wanted to just give a quick announcement, right? Courtney's from the DC area, y'all. And I know a lot of you watching this live stream right now are from the DC area. She and I went to high school together. I didn't mention that before. Actually, middle school. I think I met you in 7th grade. So this is long time connection. And I am so excited to be back in the DMV area. On September 16th, I am doing an amazing event called The Real Wife Life. I know Courtney is trying to work her schedule out to be there. I know some of you have already bought your ticket, but I just want to encourage you to come. So this conversation that we've just had about the realities of life, all that's amazing and incredible about marriage, all that can sometimes be challenging, that's what the Real Wife Life is all about. So it's taking this conversation that we're having here with you all on this video and bringing it to real life, right? So that we can actually like hug and touch and give each other encouragement and empower each other, and everyone can walk away equipped with new information, new motivation, new excitement about making their marriage work, whether that's the marriage they're in right now or the marriage that they're hoping to be in. So this is an event for married women, for single women, for it's complicated women. It really is just a wonderful time for us to talk about real life, married life, love, relationships, all of that good stuff that you're talking about anyways. So why not come with us on September 16th and be a part of that event. We would love, love, love to see you. And you can find out all about that event right here. It is going to be good. It is going to be good. It's on this Relatable Business page. You can just check the events tab. You can get your tickets right there. Don't even have to click out of Facebook, and call it a day. Make sure you do that before September 1st because early bird pricing ends on that day. So this concludes our commercial break. Thank you all for indulging. Let's see. Oh, and Suzanne will be there. Yes, so Suzanne Bowers-Thorpe will be there. And she is actually a sponsor because she's killing it with her Rodan and Fields business. And so she will be talking with us about getting our skin in that amazing, glowing, blemish-free state. So you guys definitely want to be there. She's going to be doing some amazing things for you to sample and test and to walk away like you had like a mini facial. So again, that's another reason that you should be there. We're super excited. Melissa, and she's a wildcat. Melissa, I know, I wish you could be there too. You'll be there in spirit, honey. You'll be there in spirit. Okay, so let's see. Everything's complicated, Jessa. Okay, so 14, Jessa is guessing. We have 17s. Tanya's saying 14 years, 16 years, 16, 14, 20. Oh, Gina Jenkins is on too. Hey, Gina.
Hey, Gina.
Okay, so
together.
Oh my goodness, awesome. Okay, so we've got like 14, 12, 16, like something around there. Those are the most popular answers. So Courtney, I feel like so tell us, how long have you been making your marriage work?
You've got some good guessers. We have been married for 14 years. We will be the big 1-5 in April.
Wow, congratulations.
Together 22.
Wow. Goodness gracious. You guys were like 7 months old when you met. I know, 7 months old. Wow. That is longevity, and they're still having fun together, y'all. So I hope that, I hope that Courtney's story is inspiration for you. First of all, I cannot forget what one of my guests mentioned, and I think it was Charlotte Avery, and she was like, God can work anything. He can turn anything around. So if you're watching this and you're like listening to Courtney and her experience of being with a person for 20 plus years, married for almost 15, and you're like, man, I wish my husband and I were having fun together. Man, I wish that we could be carefree and like do fun things together. It's possible for you. I mean, that's one of the reasons I love this show so much, is because it shows you what is possible. Because if it's possible for her, it's absolutely possible for you. But you have to apply some of the principles that she talked about. You're just work. You have to work on it every day. That doesn't mean that it's like an essay exam every single day, but it's just doing those lovely, nice, kind, considerate things for each other. That doesn't feel like work. Keeping your husband top of mind, offering him grace, compassion, looking within yourself, right? And really communicating. And so those are some of the things. I mean, I feel like I'm giving your closing comments now. Let me be quiet and let you share, Courtney, what it is you would leave with the people that are watching. And again, for those of you watching, share this post, because we want to make sure that, you never know who's watching on Facebook, right? You never know what people are going through. And, this message, what Courtney is sharing, what we're all about here on this show, may be just the thing someone needs right now. Facebook is filled with mindless, entertaining, but, not life giving information. This show is about giving you life personally, giving life to your marriage, your family, your legacy, right? Because your marriage is not just about you and your husband, it's about your entire family. So let me be quiet and let you, Courtney, share whatever parting words, comments, quotes, whatever comes to your mind that you want to leave our guests with, our viewers with tonight.
Well, just to piggyback on what you said before, kind of to summarize, one of the biggest proponents that I am as far as relationships is never stop dating. Just you cannot stop dating. You have to do whatever you got to do to make sure you two are getting your time out together, and even if that means inside the house but away from the kids, so that you can have the time to be like that couple you were when you first met. I mean, you have to be those people. We don't look like those people so much anymore. We don't always feel like those people, and we don't get to act like those people all the time. But it's important to have some time together to go back to just being those people back when it was carefree and easy and light and so fun. And if you make that commitment at least once a week, it's hard not to rekindle a lot of those things that really connected us in the first place. And just don't forget those kind of things. But I did find a really cool quote that I hope helps keep some things in perspective, because again, it is about finding the good in everything and focusing there. It's ironic how we often forget the things worth remembering, but remember the things worth forgetting. And similar to don't sweat the small stuff in theory, but at the same time, a lot of things that we hang on to as wives, or perhaps it's just me, are really things that we've got to let go. I mean, we're not talking about huge, game-changing, deal-breaking type things, but a lot of little things, we've got to let it go. If it's not a matter of life and death, if it's not a matter of it's going to hurt someone's feelings, we've got to let a lot more go, and don't think about it just for, what it'll do for your spouse. Think about what that'll do for you. So freeing, so freeing. So I would encourage everyone to forget a lot more of the stuff we don't need.
Yeah. Awesome. So this was well worth pressing our way to make sure that this interview happened. I am so grateful to you, Courtney, for your willingness to push through and keep making this work despite our technology challenges. I know that what you've shared has been inspirational for someone that's watching. And I'm
thanks for waiting for me. I hope I could help.
Of course. I've learned to just be okay with this stuff. Technology is amazing and challenging at the same time, just like marriage. So you just endure and you keep moving forward and you make it work. And that's what we did today. That's what I hope all of you will do in your own marriages. So thank you so much for tuning in. I will be back with you next week, minus the tech issues. I'm already declaring it right now. Speaking of declarations, that's what my book is all about. Speaking the things into your life that you want, speaking the things into your marriage. It is a wonderful little mini dose of inspiration daily with some declarations and affirmations. It's called Voices in Your Ear. Check it out. You want to make sure you get it. Thanks so much, Courtney. And thank all of you for sticking with us. Thank you. Thank you for sticking with us. And I hope to see all of you back with me next week for another episode of the Made Marriage Show. All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience with me. Bye, everyone.
Well worth the wait.